All right, so now we're back. So now we're going to take a look at some of the navigation tools that are super useful in Arc. So we still have this map ribbon that's up, right? So we have the map ribbon that's up over here, and there's this navigate toolbar here that is very, very useful. So this navigate toolbar here has a couple of different things. You have this explore, which if you just mouse over it, you'll notice that it tells you how to use your mouse. To an extent, this also works with a keypad on a laptop, but a mouse is definitely better. So in the case of a mouse, you can zoom in and out using your middle button. You can identify things, you can identify pop-ups by left-clicking on it, and then you can also, as we see here, figure out some continuous zoom options using the right-click button and the mouse, right? So that's going to be some options for zoom. Now, unlike an arc map, there's slightly less control over in ArcMap, for any old school users, you used to be able to drag and drop a button in here, drag and drop to where you wanted to zoom into using this. This isn't the case so much anymore. Instead, this continuous zoom seems to be one of the better options. The other thing you can do based on this is you can hit Control and do the box that you want to zoom into, and in theory, that will get you to whatever zoom level you want to do. I haven't ever had much luck with that. The continuous zoom is more so. Now, there's a couple of other buttons in here that are super useful. If you have a point location you want to go to, this go to XY is going to be a good option. So if I instead wanted to go to Canada, let's say, and I wanted to type in that I wanted to go to, I don't know, 118,000, what am I? Sure, let's do this. Let's see where we go. And then I wanted to go to, this isn't going to work, 118 degrees and 50 degrees, 56 degrees, right? And I can do this in decimal degrees, minutes, seconds, whatever I happen to want. So if I happen to want to go to 56 degrees north, and then I want to go to 118 degrees west, then I should be able to do that in this case. And it just does not seem to be wanting to work for me today. That's okay. There we go. So this is 118 degrees west and 56 degrees north. This should be somewhere up in Canada, I believe. And I believe it happens to be. I think this is in Alberta. It's good to know that I still remember the decimal degrees from my old province. Anyhow, so that's one thing you can do if you happen to know what XY data you want to go for. If you don't though, right, and let's say you just wanted to get a general overview of where your data is at the moment. This full extent is going to take you to the bounding box that shows all of your data. Now, this really depends on what data you happen to have in. So you can see that I've got a bunch of data down in the Galapagos. I've got some data over in Mississippi. I have some data over in Vancouver. So this bounding box is pretty big. But if let's say I wanted, let's just say I wanted to go to Mississippi, this isn't necessarily going to work for that unless I know that the largest extent of my data, what the data bounding box, what the data extent is, only covers that. Then this becomes very, very useful. And if let's say I want to go back to my original one or the one before, I can hit these back and forward ones. I can go back to however many ago. This is basically undoing my zoom. The other thing, the other two buttons in here are zoom into using a fixed extent. So this is going to zoom in at consistent increments. And then this is going to zoom out at consistent increments as well. The other thing you can do is you can zoom to the furthest extent of a particular data set. So in this case, I've right-clicked on like Thoreau, and I can go to the zoom to layer. Now this zoom to layer, so if I right-click and zoom to that layer, it's going to take me to the extent of that layer, right? So it's not going to show me all the data, it's just going to show me what that data is. Same thing with Vancouver. If I wanted to do that and I want to zoom to that layer, this one has a bigger bounding box. So it thinks that it has data down here somewhere as well, which is why it zoomed out very far. So just be careful with that type of thing. It will depend on how far the layer exists in the back end of Arc. So those are a couple of the ways that you can navigate and zoom in and out using these